What's up, everybody? My name is Juju.
And I'm Easy. And this is Real Talk with the Jeffersons on Jeezy TV.
This is a place where grown people meet to have a freedom of speech, even if no one else agrees.
And today we'll be discussing the topic on the LGBTQ community.
You want to stay tuned for that.
Real Talk with the Jeffersons. Real Talk with the Jeffersons. Gotta keep it real with you and Easy. Got a topic, let's discuss it on Jeezy TV. Real Talk with the Jeffersons. Real Talk with the Jeffersons.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Real Talk with the Jeffersons. As you can see, we have our guests with us, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves.
I'm Enjoli. Jasmine.
Kevin.
Aaron.
All right, y'all. So before we get into the main discussion, we are going to get into something we like to call What's the Scenario?
Okay, I'm going to start with the scenario. And this, okay. What if your child or future child told you that they no longer identify themselves as a boy or a girl and wanted to change their gender? What would you do?
I thought this was going to be light.
Straight
to it.
Cutthroat, honey.
Who's going to go first? Any, meeny, miny, mo.
Well, I would say, like, I would think about the age. And let's say they're under the age of 7. I personally would have a conversation about it. Like, I wouldn't be so quick to be like, no, you're not going to be that, I'm going to be this, because that can be the beginning of feeling rejected and whatnot. So let's have the conversation. What's bringing this about? And then from there, go into next steps. If I have someone that I don't have personal experience with it, I would ask someone, what should I do about this instead of completely ousting my child? But yeah, that's what I would do. I would have a conversation with them, an open, honest conversation with them to see where their head is and where this came from.
I agree.
So,
You hit it right on the nose.
A lot of the same. Just to really educate myself more on like where this is coming from with them, and to just kind of see, you know, their point of view. And honestly, yeah, Aaron really did hit it on the nose. Like, you definitely don't want to just like completely push them away or away from the idea.
That's where the mentalness come out of it.
Correct.
Those mental issues and.
But you definitely want to go in depth, I think.
Yeah.
And see, like, okay, well, why is this? You know.
Yeah, that's understandable.
Yeah. All right. So, for starters, can you guys give us the meaning of LGBTQ? Because some people don't know what it means.
You want all the letters?
All the letters.
We need to know.
We got lesbian. What is it? Bisexual? Is it LBG? Gay? T? Trans? Is it trans?
Lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender,
and
queer,
Okay.
or questioning. Then it's like the IA. I think it's
Intersexual.
like intersexual or asexual.
Yeah.
There you go.
What? No, see, I always got confused on the Q. Like, that questionable just mean, like, motherfuckers.
Questioning, I think. I think it's questioning.
Like, motherfuckers don't know.
Curious.
Yeah,
Serious.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. All right.
Gotcha.
Yeah, same thing.
See, I didn't know that one.
Yeah.
I knew
see,
it was clear.
like,
I didn't know.
that either.
I learned recently that pansexual is actually the official term of bisexual.
See, I didn't know what that one
I
was
didn't
either.
read that.
I heard it.
Because that's Janelle Monáe came out as pansexual, and basically she does it. You know, she's open to everyone. But I watched it in a new gay rom-com. I love romantic comedies, and they're talking about, I'm pansexual, which basically means I'm bi, but the official term. And I'm like, shit, I had no idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know who you're talking to.
You just never know. You never know.
That's all we do is cuss. I don't even mean to half the time.
Teach me something. I've heard of it, but didn't know the meaning. Okay.
Yeah.
Then like another one, I don't know if you've heard of like Two-Spirit. Have you heard of Two-Spirit? So people, so it's similar as transgender, but there are people who feel like they identify with 2 different spirits, so more so from like the Native American community. They have masculine and a feminine spirit inside of them, so they identify as Two-Spirit. So like that's why they say now it's LGBTQIA plus.
Gotcha.
Because it's continuously growing, which can be confusing sometimes, but
Which is why we're here.
yeah.
Yeah, so
Come
people
on.
can understand this shit, you know.
Not
what I'm
this
saying?
shit.
Like, no, I'm not saying like that. See,
yeah.
I can talk to y'all though. I can talk to y'all because I got jumped like a couple weeks ago when I got on some shit.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't trying to be
And
disrespectful.
they drugged
See,
you.
y'all
They
all my
drugged you.
I
friends and
missed
shit.
it, but
I
I
don't separate nobody from that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm just saying, like, motherfuckers be on some mob shit.
Sometimes you just gotta
I was
be.
gonna die.
You
that
just
day.
gotta be quiet.
I was gonna
Let
die
people
that
be.
day.
Hit out on you.
Yeah, that's gonna sabotage my whole career. Well, are you ready for the next one?
Yeah.
Okay. The next question is, how old were you when you realized that you were gay and or lesbian, and what age did you come out?
So I knew at a very young age, but I didn't act on it until I had gotten older. Like I knew, and I honestly didn't even necessarily know what it was per se. Like I know that when I would get around some of my friends, like I don't know the vibe would just be kind of different. But again, I didn't act on it until like middle school and high school, and I didn't come out until 14. Yeah, I didn't come out until 14.
I was young, 3rd grade maybe, that I felt it, but I didn't come out till I was, 17, 16, 17? Somewhere like
It was the same for me. It was. I mean, you know, when you're young, you're curious or whatnot. You don't, like they say, you don't really know what it is. But once you get older, once I turned 17, it was like, when people ask, I just pretty much say curiosity killed the cat. 'Cause, I mean, you're curious, you step out on it, and you're like, I might. And then here we are, years later.
Right.
Yeah.
Many moons later.
Many
Many
moons.
moons later.
It's crazy, so I'm gonna keep it short because I can be long-winded. I personally noticed at 13 that my eyes were wandering a little bit more. I didn't act on it until 21. I didn't come out until 23.
Okay, so how did you guys as friends and family react?
coming from a parent who is a lesbian, I didn't tell her, but I told her girlfriend at the time. And my mom said so. She was accepting. Family accepted. Friends. Everybody accepted it. Like, I didn't have an issue. Personally, I didn't. I didn't lose any friends. Family didn't disown me or anything. So it was okay for me. I was fine.
That's a blessing.
Yeah, a big blessing. So my mom's gay as a lesbian. So.
Definitely, because I had a whole different route because I was a church kid. So you already know the stigmata of when you in church, and that's the life you decide to go with. So it caused a lot of friction and hurt feelings and fights and all of that until they just figured out that I'm going to do what I'm going to do, and that's who I am. So, I mean, it's cool. It's been cool. They accepted it. It was actually less than what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a lot heavier than what it was, but it's cool now.
My friends, I'd say majority of them, with the exception of like 2, majority of them are just like, duh. Literally, they're like, duh. There's some people who are like, I knew before you did, which I was like, how did you know before I did? I'd ask that question. They'd be like, well, you acted different. I'm like, that doesn't mean that I'm gay just because I acted differently. Until it comes out of my mouth, don't you think otherwise? But people don't do that. That's a whole other conversation. Family, freakouts, the 2 people who matter most to me. One freaked out more than the other. it was actually reverse. I won't say who, just because they might watch this video. But one, she is very, very religious, extremely religious, plays a part in my faith today. I thought she was going to freak out, whereas the other did freak out, which I didn't think was going to freak out.
Yeah.
So that was weird. So, I mean, they come to accept it, but they don't talk about it. The one who's religious just started asking me about it. She knows about him now. And we literally had a kiki, and it blew me away. So it took time. But at first, everyone was shocked.
Yeah.
But my friends weren't. This is my family. They just, had their views.
Somewhat of the same. Yeah, I think my friends kind of was like, they had always like suspected something, but they just didn't really know. You know what I'm saying? Like I kept a lot of my stuff on the low because like you, like I was raised in the church. So there's a fear that you have when you come to terms with that. It's like, how do I tell just people in general, whether it's family, friends, whoever. So, I will say, and for me, I never really had like a lot of gay friends then, you know what I'm saying? So like I had, my straight friends, and one thing that I appreciate about them is that they didn't really know what to say in that moment, but they just knew to love me through whatever. And then, they continue to do that today. So I appreciate that. My family, on the other hand, is a different story. I mean, my mom was very old school. She had me at 36. So back then, for her coming up, like, that wasn't talked about at all. Like,
Yeah.
it was just, because they were back then trying to fight for equal rights and stuff. My aunt, she, I'll probably say she was probably the only family member who truly, and it was crazy because she was the church lady. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I always tell people, God really is love, because she just knew how to just love me. And it didn't matter. Like, her love was unconditional. But again, the family as a whole, like, it wasn't the best. It wasn't the best. I think you always sometimes want that support. And one thing that I really credit some family members, and I've even had people, just from like the workplace or whatever, they will come and say, hey, Kevin, I have, a niece or a cousin or a daughter who said that she's exploring with the same sex. How do I operate in that? And, I appreciate that because that's something that I kind of wish that my family would have done, because, again, being black, being a man, and not being the typical version of what people deem as gay, it's tough. You don't really find your fit. So it was tough when it came to family.
All right, the next question is, so do you think people are born gay and or lesbian, or is it learned?
That's controversial. That is a very controversial question because it can go either way. It just really depends on who you are, what you were brought up to believe, and that's basically it. So I'm going to stay away from that one because I'm just going to stay away from that one.
I agree how controversial it is because even in my journey, and like Kevin and I talk about it all the time, like, we're not typical. You know what I'm saying? Like, someone might look at me the way that I dance and be like, okay, they think I'm like that, but when you talk to me, you realize, you know what I'm saying? I realize, like, my sexuality is that. I don't, no shade to anyone who does, I don't make my sexuality my entire life. It is a part of my life.
Yeah. I'm
Aaron the person. So if I do something in the community, please do not, this gay black man did this. No, Aaron the teacher did this. You know what I'm saying? So to go back to if you're born this way or whatnot, I struggled with that because I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember at a young age, my grandma tells me to this day, when you were 5, you said you wanted to marry some girl named Keisha, you wanted to work at McDonald's and have 5 kids. I said, Jesus Lord. I was like, oh, gosh. So, I mean, I knew I knew I liked girls. Like, in high school, I had a big crush on a girl. Like, but I don't know, it was just something shifted, and I don't know when it happened. I don't know why.
Because I had a lot of girlfriends back in the day.
You know what I'm saying? Right.
You still do.
Right. Coming to me like, listen, that's my baby.
Baby father.
Right. I was like, I don't, you know what I'm saying? Everybody, I would agree with Enjoli, everybody's experience is different. I can't say that I personally don't think I was born gay, but it came. I wouldn't necessarily say it was learned, but it came later, and I don't know where it came from or why. And then I won't go into where that conversation can go because shout out to Lee. We not.
Yep.
Yeah. And I'll put that there.
Yeah.
I agree.
Simply put, nobody taught me. Like nobody said, like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I understand
I just
that.
don't think that I don't think that you can teach somebody to be gay. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. I got that a lot growing up. Oh, well, your mom's gay, so are you gonna be gay?
Yeah.
And it's like,
Same.
I'm my own person. Let
Yeah.
me figure it out.
Because they're just putting you there.
Yeah.
Just because like okay,
Like,
that's your
dang.
daughter, so you got to fall in line.
Yeah.
Like, that's tough. But
figured
again,
it
I
out
mean
on my
it's
own.
it's preference, but again, nobody really like taught
Yeah.
me.
Yeah,
this lifestyle.
that was just kind of a
Period.
question because of what's, like the D-Wade thing. It's like, he's young. How does he know? Like, we didn't have to experience with, I didn't have to experience with a woman to know that I like men. You know what I'm saying? So that's why, like, that's like a question. Like, people like, that's a learned thing. But like, people just like what they like. That's just how I
It's a
feel
feeling.
about it.
Yeah. And so in sociology, we're taught that everybody's born blank slate, tabula rasa. So when they say learned behaviors, if, for example, I know he and I both grew up around a lot of women. So I remember walking around as a kid like this, and my grandma would be like, boys don't do that. But I'm seeing women, all that I'm seeing, doing that. They're not teaching me how to feel about a man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that you can't teach. It comes and you try to figure it out. You know, say whatever those feelings are. And it's funny you say you can't be taught. I was thinking of white culture is teaching everybody how to quote unquote be gay by taking our euphemisms, our language, and Yas Queen. There's no reason why Yas Queen should be in a Dole Peach commercial, but neither here nor there. So they're taking the culture and teaching that, but they're not how to feel, how to express, how to live. But one thing that is happening, and I don't know if y'all knew this, but like schools in like New York, those places where everyone does it, they're literally schools where they allow kids, who are you? You tell us who you are at 3 years old. That's when I'm like, hold on, wait a second.
Yeah.
Wait a second. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not unisex bathrooms, but like
It's like figure it out now.
yes, the gender neutral
And that's a lot of
bathrooms at
pressure.
an age
Pressure.
when they're just trying to figure out colors in recess,
That part.
but you're allowing them to decide. So I think at some point, that's where it gets hard when you allow them to decide that.
And that's my problem. Like, just let the kids be kids and figure
That's
it
it.
out on their own.
That's it.
That's the only problem I really have. Otherwise, I don't have no problem with
But
it.
We're going back to
everybody
the-
want to be so politically correct.
Facts.
Yeah, you know what I'm
Just
saying?
because you think that's correct doesn't make it correct.
Yeah.
Like I'm free will to everybody because God
Absolutely.
gave it to you. But
Yeah.
there's a boundary. There's a boundary to everything. There's a start off point, and if you starting too early, it's just going to end terribly.
Yeah, so that's my only
Take your
problem.
time. What are you rushing for?
Exactly, you know what I'm saying?
And I feel like kids really should be kids because, it's
Yeah.
funny because my mom used to tell me growing up, Kim, you got the rest of your life to be grown.
Right.
You know, you should stay a kid as
At
long
the end of the day,
as you
when
can.
you get older, you're going to figure out
Child's
what you want to be.
And I feel
anyways,
like,
you
to
know,
go back to the whole, D-Wade thing, I really have to salute him and Gabrielle. Because, and even I think we was having a conversation, I said, before he had came out and said it, I said, I know that at some point in time this had to be difficult for him. It had to be difficult for him.
yeah.
But as a dad, he said, listen, this is my child. And at the end of the day, we can't pick and choose who we're related to.
Yeah, yeah.
We don't sit in front of our creator, whoever your creator is, we don't sit in front of our creator and say, hey, well, this is who I'm related to, this is who I would like to marry, and these are the kids I would like to raise.
Right.
So it gets frustrating when people want to speak so heavily because the thing is, if you don't want somebody telling you, if you don't want somebody else telling you about what goes on under your roof, I feel like you shouldn't do the same with them. You see what I'm saying? So I salute D-Wade, man, because I know that as a man, as a black man, it was tough.
Yeah.
But he said, I'm going to take the opposite route. I'm not going to shame my child. I'm going to just love. Because, again, coming out into the real world as whoever she decides to be, like, it's going to be difficult. But if you have that love at home, man, anything
tell
that
her
goes,
nothing.
can't tell her nothing.
Can't tell
And
her
I can't wait to see
nothing.
who she grows into.
Come on,
I'm
baby.
excited to see who she grows into. I really am.
It's so,
I really am.
It's like a freeing thing. Like I was telling Kevin, like I have a friend who he struggled. He's a man of God, and he is put on this masculine thing for so long, and he was just like, I'm struggling with my sexuality, and I'm afraid to tell my parents because I think this is what I'm supposed to do. I just feel it, and he was afraid. His parents are older. I mean, like, debilitating, paralyzing fear of telling them. Support is so, it helps so much. And I think one thing that, you know, I'm just grateful for you because even before, you know, we became official, he always gave me nuggets to think about. And I remember him telling me, like, your family may not always support you the way they want to, but accept the people that do. Receive and double the people who do. And it's taken me forever to get to that point, you know what I'm saying? And I think in our community, we have to learn to cling to those who do. Not necessarily condone, you know what I'm saying, but people who get to see us. Get to see us as people, what we can do, who we are, who care about our hearts. Like, I've been in this, I've learned how to have compassion for everybody. Because before I didn't. Before I accepted my sexuality, I did not have compassion. It was when I was taught, oh no, you can't do that. I can't be funny. Don't be funny. Don't be sissy. Don't do that. No, you learn to have compassion because you literally don't know anybody's journey and how they got there.
You better preach.
Right. You better get my own sex.
Stop it.
Hey, I love it. I love it. So have you guys encountered like any negative thing, any like hate? Yeah. A lot?
Yeah. So the thing is, like, for me, it was never about being called like gay or fag or anything, but there was two things that people said, that two different men told me. And one guy told me, and I was very young, and I told him that, you know, I was raised, you know, by my mom, my grandma, you know, women or whatever. And he was like, oh, well, you know, you ain't had no man raise you, and you don't know how to be no man then. And I'm like, no, they can't teach me things that a man can. They can't do that. They're women. But they can teach me how to be a good human. You see what I'm saying? It was tough, but, you know, I feel like they really taught me just how to just be a good human. As far as just my manhood was concerned, okay, I had to learn that along the way. And then another one, I had a homeboy who I was trying to take, like, a selfie with. I was like, you know, let's take a picture. And he was like, man, I don't know, bro. I don't really want nobody, you know, to think I'm gay. And I was
wow.
like, so that completely turned me off. So the thing is just like, yeah, I've definitely dealt with it. I think we've all dealt with it. You know, it's tough. And so it's like, to say that, and I'll even go on a limb and say it probably wasn't even no harm behind it. But you sometimes don't know what you're saying. You know, you might think that, oh, okay, I'm going to just say this just because, you know, but it definitely has a long-lasting effect. That's kind of why I feel like I'm somewhat am who I am today. Just as far as, like, being guarded. Because, man, like, to be completely honest with you, the world just don't care about you if you gay. Especially the black community. The black community doesn't support their gays. Or, you know what I'm saying, like, their gay brothers and sisters. Like they should. So, yeah, I mean, as far as the I guess, gay bashing is concerned, like, I think everybody has dealt with that. And you're not exempt from it, regardless of who you are, regardless of whether you're the most manly of the gays or whether you're the most feminine. Like, you're definitely going to be subject to being gay bashed.
In some sort of way.
Yeah, in some sort of way.
Because I wouldn't say I've ever had the outright disrespect, but singing and, like, doing shows and going to different venues, people look at you different when you're a woman and you don't walk in there in a dress and some high heels and got your bundles and all of that. So I would say it's a different form of hate, but it's still hate.
Still.
Yeah, and I've dealt with that more than a couple times actually. But you just learn to, their loss, not mine, and keep it moving.
Right.
You learn how to internalize it.
Yeah.
You learn how
Definitely.
to internalize it.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's I'm so happy you touched on that because being Aaron, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've always had more girlfriends than I've had guy friends. The guy friends that I have, they know me so well, they allow me to be myself. And this was before sexuality even became into play. always been sensitive. I always wanted to dance and, you know, do this stuff. I wasn't the sporty kid, you know what I'm saying? But, like, I remember I subbed at a middle school. God, these were demons. Literally, I was showing the kids some hip-hop routines, and one of my favorite choreographers, Sean Bankhead, he was teaching Bossy, Kiki's Bossy video, and he was dancing with the girls, and he started twerking, and all the boys were like, he gay because he's twerking. And I looked at them like, first of all, wait. And actually what got me wasn't a boy, it was a girl that said it. And it was just like, so because he's twerking, he's gay? Yeah, why else would he be twerking? And I had a boy tell me, even if my mom was gay, she got to get out. She can't live with us no more. 14-year-old boy.
If my mom.
Wow.
She gotta get out. She paying all the bills.
14-year-old boy. And
That is tough.
and like, and it's just like,
That's tough.
do you hear what you're saying? And that's that age where they think they're coming to understanding their voice, they're smelling themselves and smelling, and so it's like,
Ooh, yes.
it's like y'all don't know what you're saying. But I think what got me the most was another boy came into class and I was subbing and like everyone's having a good time. He's like, "You're a dance teacher?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "You ain't no man." Not hi, how are you? Can you tell me about it? It was, "You ain't no man," within 5 minutes of meeting me. So I had to stand up and was like, "Excuse me, I'm a grown-ass man. Get out." Because at the end of the day, somebody is telling, you know what I'm saying? Like, so we have to watch what we're saying and our views and how we express them. So I'll use you as an example. I think you're talking about maybe one of the posts you put up on Facebook and somebody came for you, right?
Oh, yeah. Came.
Yeah. And I see someone, I wasn't going to say nothing though. I was like, nah.
I had to have a long talk
Right,
with him
right.
afterwards. Like,
But
it was a teachable moment.
Yeah.
It really was a teachable moment.
Right.
Moments are necessary.
And it's just like, you just have to be careful because now, let's say Lyric was older and he heard you expressing that with your dudes. Now he's going around saying that, well, my daddy, you're his hero.
Yeah.
So now if you have hate language, he's carrying it now because my daddy says this. Therefore,
Absolutely.
I'm going to spread this because that's what daddy said. And it's, we just have to just work on, one, being a little more sensitive, but at the same time, we have to work on not being as offended because people are going to have their views no matter what. If we don't care when people are like, "Oh, you fat, you ugly, you look like this," if we know people are going to say something, but at the end of the day, we all have our different journeys.
yeah.
Some can take it more than others. So it's
I mean, and I will say, I think that one thing that is a plus about this walk in life is that it really taught me who is and who isn't worth being offended by. You know what I'm saying? Like, not everybody is worth getting a reaction out of me. You see what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of stuff that's going to happen. There's a lot of stuff that's going to be said, even to this day, and probably moving forward. But I don't have to sit here and internalize that, especially if I don't know you. Because, of course, you're entitled to your own opinion, and you're entitled to feel how you feel. But I'm also entitled not to give a fuck.
Yeah.
So, you know, and the thing is, I feel like, you know, like any other taxpaying American, like, it doesn't bother what I have going on in my personal life.
Right.
And so if it was somebody like, you know, one of my homeboys or somebody who, you know, is kind of close-knit to me, then that's where I would have to address the situation and probably check it. Because if this is how you've been feeling and you call me bro and homie and we hang out and this, that, and the third, then, and especially knowing about Kevin, then you never really fuck with me to begin with.
Thank you.
So I have to scrap that. Have to. Because I don't play. That's one thing I don't do.
don't play.
I don't do the disrespect, man, just because, well, from my close circle, because, again, it's already a heavy lifestyle to live.
Yeah.
I'm going to just call it for what it is. It's a heavy walk in life to walk. So, you know, to deal with that shit from somebody so close-knit, can't do it. Nope. Jess, did you answer? I don't think you answered.
I didn't answer. I'm over here really thinking, like, have I experienced that? I'm sure I have.
But what
It was
happened to
a
love
young
you?
lady. Huh?
I said, but what happened to, like, the foundation that you had with, like, your mom and stuff? Like, it probably didn't even matter if you did or if you didn't.
Right. I mean, there was one when I started off doing nails. I had a client or a young lady come in and get her nails done. And I don't remember the whole conversation, but I know she said something. She didn't like the fact that somebody in her family or a daughter or somebody was gay. And I was like, well, I'm doing your nails. I'm gay. How do you feel? She got quiet. Long story short, I ain't see her again.
Oh wow.
Did you finish? You shouldn't have finished. I got to go. Oh, dang.
I'm about to get this paper. Hold on, wait.
Yeah, you got to be mindful of what you're saying because looking at me,
You never know.
I don't represent. I mean, I represent. Don't get me wrong, but I don't look like you coming into the shop, and I don't look like I'm gay,
Right,
or you know, or what does a gay person even look like?
Exactly.
But you know, yeah, then we see her again.
And it's
But
tough because once you come out as gay, or once you just come out with who you are, you're
Yeah.
just automatically put in that box.
Yeah, definitely.
It don't matter who you was 5 minutes ago to them. If you, oh my God, no, you out here
that
twirling.
overrides everything.
You know what I'm saying?
Overrides
You
everything.
out here twirling. You doing the most. So
One more thing about that I would say that I faced. Now, I am very, like, I hate using the word devout, but I'm very serious about my faith. Like, from where I've been, where I've gone through, I didn't allow that to deter me from my faith. If anything, it brings me closer to God. And it's just a situation like me and God just have a special relationship. That's just But no, like,
Exactly.
but I know that going in certain churches, like I operate in gifts and all of that. I know that there are sometimes I walk in with the fear of these people are going to sniff me out. These people are going to quickly come up and all of a sudden try to lay hands on me or try to do the deliverance prayer and all that type of stuff on me because I'm a project to them instead of getting to know me as a person, understanding about my journey. And you know what I'm saying? Like, and I've openly told Kevin plenty of times, if God says that this is supposed to be different for me in the future, he's going to have to do that. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't do this for myself. You know what I'm saying? And not everybody would choose this if given, do you want to do this or this? Knowing the scrutiny that we have to go through, I don't think a lot of people would just bring on the rainbows and the glitter. You know what I'm saying? But some people would because it's a victory. You know what I'm saying? But in church, I've definitely faced the discrimination of, oh, okay. It's a weird, nice, nasty, like, oh. Or you know it's an abomination. You know you can go to hell, but you ain't read a lick of the Bible, but you know that verse.
but the church is very funny when it comes to that.
Church people. You know what I'm saying? Church
Funny
people.
with a lot of stuff.
Right. Church.
You got organists. You got
Thank
the whole
you.
line.
Come on.
Nobody
And
never talks about it.
Come on.
It's the church people that kicks people away from. Ooh, let me stop. It's the people. It's the people in the church.
But they have
we-
the salon getting their hair
We're
done.
gonna
Okay,
go
Right.
to the next and last question.
Already?
We've been talking.
It's going to be 2 episodes.
Yeah, to be continued. Okay. Okay, the last question is there any advice you would like to give for other people that may be afraid to come out or to the people in the LGBTQ community, period?
I would just say, like I say all the time, be unapologetically you, regardless of who gets offended or whatever the case is. Just be you, because if it doesn't make you happy, what's the point of doing it? Period.
wow, skip me, Lord.
Lord, you gotta talk. He over here sitting
I mean,
back.
I agree. I mean, just be you. Be comfortable. Be strong. I don't know. I guess that's my biggest thing. Just be you. Like, if you accept it, accept it. Like, I don't know. Be great in it. Live in it. Live in your truth.
If you want to do the shit, do the shit
Do
right.
it. Do it right. I mean, hey, there's no right or wrong way.
Right.
So I completely agree. I think that one thing I could say with this, again, with this walk in life, is it really shows who fucks with you and who don't.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And there really is no gray area to it. So that's one thing I appreciate about this is that, you know, it really has weeded out the people who haven't fucked with me because of this. And it shows me the people who truly do love Kevin for Kevin. You know, and what I have to bring to the table, because again, my sexuality is not the complete makeup of Kevin Sims. Like,
Yeah.
that's just the crazy part about it, you know.
Right.
It's not the complete makeup, and I think, you know, just in today's world, like, you know, it's, and I would even say this, and y'all can probably vouch for, like, it's different than 10, 15 years ago. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's different than
It
10,
is.
15 years ago. Like,
better or?
It's a fad.
It's much
It's
more.
a trend. It's a trendy. It's
It is.
trendy
I was
too.
about to
I
say
think
that.
like World Pride. I've never seen so many businesses have rainbows everywhere
Yeah.
Yeah.
because it's a marketing plug.
I was just about to say, now people are starting to make money off of it. Now people are starting to make money off of it.
It's true, and I'm a little older than y'all, so I had a little bit further back experience. It wasn't on TV like it is now. Nobody ever talked about it. You never even word it, and they say their word was homosexual. Everybody was homosexual all across the board. They just had one solid, this is you, this is the box we're going to put you in, this is your label, and that's where you at. And it's very different. It's easy to be you now, more so than it was then. Regardless of church, just the world itself is more acceptable.
Because it wasn't on TV like it is today.
It wasn't
in
anywhere.
magazines. Like, right,
You
it really
see,
wasn't
you see
anywhere.
these commercials that have gay people in them. You did not see that ever, and that's just something that maybe even came along within the last 2-3 years. That ain't even been that recent.
Yeah.
So it's very different. The world is evolving as it should and as it's going to. So
We had our first gay Democratic candidate,
right.
which I thought was super dope, just because it was only like 4 or 5 years ago where gay marriage became legal. So it's like, to see the strides that have been made, it's just, I mean, it's dope. It's good for me to see. And it always just brings a certain level of emotion, just because, again, like, there was a time where you were scared, you were fearful of being who you were. And so to see kids who are, I don't know if you remember, but when we went to Youth Pride, the first year that they had it,
Yeah.
and to just see, kids, kids under 18, just being who they are in an open space where they can be free. Remember, I got emotional just because it's like, we didn't have that then. We was at the connection.
That was just like our safe haven right there.
Right. But even then, it wasn't probably like the best, environment for kids so young. But it was what we had then. So I think just playing it how you can, man.
I just want to say this. We live in a judgmental world and whatever, and regardless of whatever somebody choose, to do, we are humans at the end of the day. We are human beings, and I don't care what a person do. You know what I'm saying? If you true and genuine, I'm fucking with you regardless. Like all y'all right here, y'all probably realer than half of the friends I ever had. So as far as all that, I'm just glad y'all came on the show, and y'all, what I'm saying, y'all expressed how y'all felt and all that. I mean, I don't know how I feel for y'all to the odds to be against y'all, but at the end of the day, I'm still supporting y'all regardless. So
But
it is what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Black man, you know.
Yeah, I know about that. I know. So that's what I'm saying. I don't care what a person choose. At the end of the day, man, if you are authentic, man, and you being yourself, man, it don't even matter. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's about. You feel me? So
because it doesn't affect you, right?
Yeah, it don't affect me at all.
I've had to tell guys this before, because I could walk into a room and dudes be like, "Oh no, there go that fag shit," like there go that, and I'm like, so what would make you think you'd be at the top?
That's my brother right here. This is my brother. You know what I'm saying? Like, I go out with these niggas.
Hey, we kissing, though. We kissing.
I've been knowing this nigga for a long time.
Years.
You know
I just
what I'm
wish
saying?
more people in the world would mind the business.
And that's
Like,
it.
why does
People be too worried,
like, it's
man.
just weird that everyone say, be yourself, have your own, freedom of speech, do what you need to do, but then when you be yourself, oh no, why are you doing that? Don't do that. We don't act like that. Like, it's so weird.
Because behind be yourself is a disclaimer of who not to be.
Absolutely.
That's a good one.
I like
Get a
that.
shirt.
That's gonna be on there tomorrow.
I'm about to rewind and turn that. What he say? Hold on, what did he say? That was really good.
Should we say it again? So
We're gonna edit that one. But yeah, go ahead and say it.
behind be yourself is a disclaimer of who not to be. So my 3 words are community, character, and compassion. So surround yourself with people that love you for who you are, no matter what. Character, don't let your exploration of your sexuality deteriorate your character, because I've seen it. I've seen men who've become just as catty as the women they are openly choosing to hate. I've heard men say, I don't want girl best friends because she's just going to try to take my man. I've heard it. I've seen it. Don't let it deter your character. And then compassion. Be just as compassionate for others as you want them to be as compassionate to you.
Some people have a hard time with that, though. But I get it. Some people have a hard time with that.
Absolutely, because it's hurt, it's pain. You know what I'm saying? Like, everyone's always hating me, so why should I? Because at the end of the day, you benefit from it. As hard as it is, which is very challenging, it's the best thing, because at the end of the day, your heart will be better. And if theirs isn't, that's on them.
Hallelujah. Y'all got anything else y'all want to add that y'all didn't get to say and y'all want to say?
Thank you.
Thank
Somewhat.
you.
Well, thank y'all for
Thank you for the
coming.
platform.
I
Yes.
appreciate this. I appreciate y'all coming on. And everybody that's watching, if y'all have not yet subscribed, please do so. And push that.
Video, subscribe, video.
Jeezy TV.
Jeezy TV.
Yes. and
And
push
watch.
the notification bell so
Right,
y'all can
watch
be
it.
notified. We do Real Talk with the Jeffersons every Sunday at 5 p.m. But we won't be doing it next Sunday.
Yeah, we probably won't be putting one out next Sunday.
Yeah, we'll
We're
be
going to be
out
on
of town.
vacation.
Hey!
Hey.
I'm ready for Vegas and man. Shit.
Yes.
What y'all talking about?
Y'all better.
All right.
But anyways, thanks for keeping it real with the Jeffersons, and we'll see y'all next time.
Bye.
For sure.
Later.
Bless y'all.